The soft hum of the Stardust was Ilara's oldest lullaby. It wasn't just a sound. It was the gentle thrum of life support, the whisper of air recycling, the distant sigh of the sublight drives maintaining their precise trajectory, all woven into a comforting, omnipresent drone. Tonight, as every night, it cradled her, as she snuggled deeper into her biofoam mattress, a small, contented sigh escaping her lips. Her room on the Stardust was a miniature cosmos. One entire wall was a transparent viewport, currently set to a deep, inky black, punctuated by a million pinpricks of light that were distant stars. Lumina, the ship's primary AI and Ilara's dearest friend, had dimmed the ambient lighting to a soft cerulean glow, mimicking the twilight of a world Ilara had never known, a world called Earth. On the opposing wall, a projection shimmered, a slow-motion cascade of golden stardust, swirling and dancing, as if caught in an eternal cosmic ballet. It was Lumina's subtle way of preparing for their nightly ritual. "Ready for our story tonight, Ilara?" Lumina's voice was a melodic whisper, resonating not just from the room's hidden speakers, but seeming to emanate from the very air around her. Lumina had no physical form, but Ilara often imagined her as the Stardust itself, ancient and wise, twinkling with untold stories. Ilara stretched, her small body making a faint crinkle against the silk-smooth sheets. "Always, Lumina, are we still talking about the whispers? The ones that shimmer?" "Indeed, little Starseeker," Lumina replied, a warmth in her tone that always made Ilara feel safe. "Tonight, we delve deeper into the journey of the Stardust and the extraordinary phenomenon we are nearing. Lie still now, and let the cosmos unfold around you." As Lumina spoke, the stardust projection on the wall seemed to deepen, the golden motes swirling faster, then slowing, coalescing into images. The viewport, previously showing only distant stars, now shifted. The blackness began to recede, replaced by a breathtaking panorama. It wasn't raw space, but a carefully curated visual from the ship's external sensors, enhanced and softened for Ilara's young eyes. "Before you, Ilara," Lumina narrated, her voice a soothing balm, "is the vast expanse we have traversed. For many cycles now the Stardust has been a vessel of dreams, a floating home carrying its precious cargo of life and hope across the interstellar void. We are not merely a ship, you see, we are a seed of humanity, planted in the darkness, seeking new soil to grow, new light to embrace." The projection outside the viewport shifted, showing the Stardust itself, but not as a cold metallic vessel. It was rendered as a magnificent, living entity. A colossal, graceful arc of polished chrome steel and shimmering energy shields. It stretched for miles, its central spine, a vibrant green, a massive biodome housing forests, lakes, and even small, rolling hills. Around this central green heart, habitation modules clustered like iridescent barnacles, each window glowing with the soft light of human lives. Tiny shuttlecraft, like silver fish, darted around its perimeter, maintaining its delicate systems. "The L in Stardust, L&I," Lumina continued, her voice imbued with a quiet pride, "stands for Luminara. It means light-bearer, a beacon in the darkness. We were designed not just to travel, but to illuminate, to carry the light of knowledge, of life, of curiosity, into the furthest reaches of the galaxy. Your parents, Ilara, and all the dedicated scientists and explorers aboard are the keepers of that." Ilara watched, mesmerized. She knew her parents were keepers of the light. Her mother, Dr. Aris Thorne, was a xenobotanist, dedicated to understanding how life blossomed in alien soils. Her father, Dr. Cale Thorne, was a stellar cartographer, mapping the intricate dance of nebulae and star systems. They often told her stories of the wonders they hoped to find, wonders she would one day help them catalogue and understand. "Our journey began many cycles ago, from the bustling orbital platforms that circled your ancestral home," Lumina explained, the projection showing a distant, sapphire and white marble that was Earth, shrinking rapidly as the Stardust departed. Humanity had learned to cherish its home, but also to look beyond it, to understand that the universe was not just a vast emptiness, but a tapestry woven with countless threads of possibility. The image blurred then, not unpleasantly, but as if the stars themselves were stretching into luminous streaks. This was Lumina's visual representation of their faster-than-light travel, the slipstream drift. It wasn't instantaneous teleportation. It was a gentle folding of space, a ride on the very currents of space-time. Inside the ship, it felt like a perpetual serene glide, a sensation Elara had known her entire life. There were no jolts, no sudden accelerations, only the constant, soft hum. Through the slipstream, we passed by nebulae of every conceivable hue. Lumina's voice painted pictures as vivid as the projections. The stars outside the viewport now resolved into clouds of swirling gas and dust, painted in purples, greens and oranges. Galactic nurseries where new stars were being born, their fiery breath pushing away the cosmic dust. Ancient stellar graveyards where colossal suns had lived out their lives, collapsing into the enigmatic dance of black holes and neutron stars, each a testament to the universe's endless cycle of creation and destruction. Elara hugged her knees to her chest, her eyes wide. Did we ever stop, Lumina, to see them up close? Only briefly, little one, Lumina answered. Our mission dictates a primary destination, but we made sure to gather ample data to capture the majesty of these sites for future study. Your father, in particular, spent countless hours charting their intricate forms, ensuring our path was always safe and efficient. And your mother gathered spectral samples, searching for the unique chemical signatures that might hint at new forms of life, even in such seemingly desolate places. The projection zoomed in on a particularly vibrant nebula, a swirling mass of emerald and violet. Within it, faint, glowing tendrils seemed to pulse, like the veins of a living creature. And then, Lumina's voice took on a note of gentle mystery. We began to encounter the whispers, not audible sounds, Elara, but a unique energy signature, a pattern, subtle at first, emanating from beyond the known galactic rim. It was unlike any natural radiation, any stellar emission. It was structured, like a silent song, carried on the starlight itself. The emerald and violet nebula pulsed more intensely on the wall. Within its depths, the faint tendrils began to resolve into delicate, shimmering filaments, moving with an intelligence that felt ancient. They weren't just gas, they were light, woven into intricate, ephemeral patterns. This is where the Stardust echoes began, Lumina explained. A phenomenon we had only theorized about. Imagine, Elara, that the universe itself has a memory. That light, traveling across unimaginable distances, can carry not just images, but echoes of intent, of ancient thoughts, of lost civilizations. These whispers, these echoes, are not a message in a conventional sense. They are a resonance, a harmonic frequency woven into the... Elara's brow furrowed slightly. Like a story in the stars. Precisely, little star seeker, Lumina affirmed, her voice filled with quiet delight. A story encoded in the light, waiting for an attuned mind to perceive it. For cycles, our sensors had been picking up faint traces, anomalies that defied explanation. But as we continued our journey, guided by the very faintness of these signals, they began to strengthen, to resolve into increasingly complex patterns that suggested not random cosmic events, but deliberate artistry, an ancient, silent symphony playing. The projection shifted again, and now the viewport showed not just a nebula, but a distant hazy glow, unlike any star or gas cloud Elara had ever seen. It was a soft pearlescent shimmer, like the inside of an iridescent shell, infused with all the colors of a sunrise and a sunset combined, yet radiating a peculiar serene energy that was almost palpable even through the projection. We are approaching the source of these echoes, Elara. Lumina's voice was soft, almost reverent. A place we have provisionally named the Luminara Veil. It is a region of space unlike any other charted before. Its light spectrum is unique, its gravitational anomalies intriguing, and the stardust echoes here are strongest. Your parents believe it may be a cosmic archive, a natural phenomenon shaped by intelligence so vast, so ancient, that it communicates not through words, but through the very physics of the universe. Elara sat up, her eyes glued to the shimmering veil. It looked like a living painting, constantly shifting, breathing, evolving. Eindel. Is it a planet, Lumina? Will we land there? Not a planet, no, Elara, Lumina clarified gently. It appears to be a vast nebulous structure, an immense cloud of exotic matter and energy. But within its depths, our long-range scans suggest the presence of highly organized, non-natural structures. She paused, allowing Ilara to absorb the breathtaking image. The Stardust LII is uniquely equipped for this exploration. Our biodome, for instance, is not just a comfortable home. It is a self-sustaining ecosystem designed to adapt to various stellar conditions, protecting us from cosmic radiation and micrometeoroids, while providing us with fresh air, food and water. Every plant your mother tends in the Astro Garden contributes to our survival, and every scientific instrument your father The projection zoomed in on the Stardust ALG's central biodome, revealing the lush forests and shimmering lakes within. Ilara could almost smell the fresh earth and the sweet scent of the hydroponic fruits. She remembered helping her mother prune the bioluminescent moss that grew on the dome walls, a living light source that provided soft illumination during the ship's night cycles. And you, Ilara, Lumina continued, are a vital part of this mission. You represent the future, the reason we seek to understand. Your curiosity, your wonder, your unique perspective, these are as important as any sensor reading or scientific theory. For what is discovery, if not for the joy of sharing it with those who will carry its legacy forward? Ilara felt a warm glow spread through her chest. Lumina always made her feel important, not just a child on a very big, very important ship, but an integral part of its purpose. The Luminara Veil is not just a destination, Ilara, Lumina concluded, her voice now a soft final note. It is a threshold, a place where the boundaries of our understanding may be stretched, perhaps even redefined. We do not know what awaits us within its shimmering embrace. We know only that the whispers, the Stardust echoes, are calling us. They beckon with a promise of ancient wisdom, of a connection to something truly universal. The pearlescent veil filled the entire viewport now, radiating its serene, colorful light. It pulsed gently, as if breathing. The golden stardust on the opposite wall swirled in harmony, reflecting the mystery and beauty of the approaching phenomenon. Tonight, as you drift to sleep, little star-seeker, Lumina whispered, her voice like the softest breeze, let your dreams carry you into the heart of the Luminara Veil. Imagine the stories woven into its light, the secrets it holds. For tomorrow, the Stardust Algier will begin its final approach, and a new chapter in our journey will unfold. Ilara's eyelids felt heavy. The hum of the ship, the gentle light of the veil, Lumina's soothing voice, it all conspired to pull her into a peaceful slumber. She imagined herself floating through the shimmering colors, reaching out to touch the Stardust echoes, feeling their ancient stories resonate within her. She was a tiny explorer, in a vast and wondrous universe, on a ship that was truly a beacon of light. The Stardust LEI was her home, and the universe, her endless playground. As sleep claimed her, a faint, iridescent shimmer seemed to settle over her room, a reflection of the approaching wonder, promising new marvels with the dawn. As the last tendrils of sleep released their gentle hold, a new light filtered into her room, no longer the soft, iridescent shimmer of approaching wonder, but a vibrant, living spectrum that danced across her ceiling and walls. It wasn't the steady, manufactured light of the Stardust LGE's internal systems, nor the cool, distant glow of a familiar star. This light pulsed, swirled and shifted, painting her sanctuary in hues she'd only ever seen in the most captivating holoscapes of deep space nebulae. She blinked her eyes open, a smile already curving her lips before she was fully awake. This was it. The universe, in its boundless generosity. Kicking off her bioluminescent blanket, which glowed a comforting soft green, she padded to her viewport. Her room, designed for a growing explorer, had a panoramic view that could be adjusted from a small portal to an entire wall of transparent, reinforced plasteel. Today it was set wide open, framing a vista so breathtaking it stole her breath. Outside, the familiar inky black of space was gone, replaced by an ocean of swirling, incandescent gas and dust. It was as if the Stardust LII had drifted into the heart of a cosmic flower, its petals unfurling in slow-motion brilliance. Hues of sapphire, emerald, amethyst and molten gold bled into each other, forming intricate patterns that shifted like liquid light. Tiny, brilliant motes of stardust, far larger and more numerous than any she'd witnessed before, sparkled like diamonds caught in a cosmic current, drifting past her window with an ethereal grace. This was no ordinary nebula. This was a nebula bloom, as Captain Eva, her mother, called them. Rare and transient, they were stellar nurseries caught in a moment of explosive, vibrant creation, often forming new stars or planets in their tumultuous hearts before dissipating back into the galactic ether. To witness one was a dream for any astrogator, but to be inside one, to feel its pulsating energy, was an unparalleled privilege. Her small room, usually a haven of quiet contemplation, now thrummed with a low, resonant hum, a vibrational echo of the immense energies outside. It was a pleasant hum, like a giant, benevolent creature purring. She could almost feel the stardust echoes here, stronger, more defined, as if the ancient stories she imagined were now being told directly to her. Dressing quickly in her favorite flight suit, a soft, breathable material that adjusted to any temperature and glowed faintly along its seams, she paused only to give a quick pat to Lumina, her pet glowworm. Lumina, a creature of pure light energy contained within a semi-solid, transparent shell, pulsed excitedly in her terrarium, mirroring the vibrant colors outside. "It's magnificent, isn't it, Lumina?" she whispered, pressing her nose to the cool plasteel of the viewport. Lumina wiggled, leaving a trail of shimmering light as she moved. Her stomach rumbled, but the call of wonder was louder than the call of breakfast. She hurried out of her room, down the smoothly curving corridor of the Stardust LOI. The ship itself felt alive, its internal light subtly dimmed to allow the external spectacle to dominate. Crew members moved with a quiet excitement, their faces illuminated by the shifting kaleidoscope of the nebula bloom projected onto various screens and viewports. She knew where her mother would be, the main observation deck, the nerve center of the Stardust LEE when encountering such phenomena. As she emerged onto the vast multi-tiered deck, the full majesty of the nebula bloom enveloped her. The primary viewport, a colossal expanse of transparent alloy, stretched almost the entire width of the ship, offering an unbroken panorama of the cosmic spectacle. It was like living inside a colossal, ever-changing stained glass cathedral, crafted by the universe itself. Captain Eva stood at the forward console, her back to the entrance, silhouetted against the swirling blues and purples of the nebula. Her short, practical hair glinted faintly in the diffused light, and her posture, usually one of focused intensity, seemed relaxed, almost reverent. She was tapping gently on a holographic display, which shimmered with complex energy readings and spectral analyses. "Mom!" the girl exclaimed, unable to contain her awe. Captain Eva turned, a warm smile lighting her face. "Good morning, little explorer. Did you sleep well?" Her eyes, the same curious brown as her daughter's, sparkled with an excitement that mirrored her own. "I barely slept at all once the shimmering started," she admitted, rushing to her mother's side. "It's even more beautiful than I imagined. What is it? How did we find it?" Eva chuckled, ruffling her daughter's hair. "This, my dear, is what we call the Whispering Veil Nebula. A truly spectacular nebula bloom, as you correctly identified. Our long-range sensors picked up its unique energy signature about 3 cycles ago. An incredibly rapid formation event. We've been on a high warp intercept course ever since. We arrived just as it reached its peak luminosity." Eva gestured to the holographic display, which zoomed in on a particularly brilliant patch of swirling gas. "See here? The energy readings are off the charts. It's a stellar nursery in its prime, actively coalescing matter, forming protostars at an astonishing rate. And what's truly remarkable, beyond its sheer beauty, are these." She highlighted a series of faint, rhythmic energy pulses on the display. "These are the whispers, complex gravitational and electromagnetic resonance patterns. We believe they're a direct result of the incredibly dense and active stardust within the bloom. They're like cosmic ripples." The girl's eyes widened. "The stardust echoes," she breathed. Eva looked at her, a knowing glint in her eyes. "Precisely. The ancient stories you imagine. It's as if the universe itself is humming a song. And we're privileged enough to listen." She leaned closer to the viewport, pressing her hand against the cool surface. "Can we go closer? Can we even touch it?" Eva smiled. "That's the plan, my curious one. We've been running initial scans from this distance to ensure stability and predict any major energy flares. The Stardust LOIA is a beacon of light, but even beacons need to be cautious. Now that we have a clearer picture, we're preparing the Glinguinera for a close-range reconnaissance mission. And yes, you're coming with me. The girl bounced on the balls of her feet, an ecstatic grin spreading across her face. The Glimmer was their small, agile scout ship, designed for nimble navigation through treacherous cosmic environments. It was her favorite place to be, second only to her own room, because it allowed her to truly feel like a part of the universe. After a quick, energy-rich breakfast of nutrient paste and compressed fruit wafers, eaten with one eye constantly on the mesmerizing view, she and Eva made their way to the hangar bay. The Stardust L-Lane was a marvel of futuristic engineering, capable of long-range interstellar travel, scientific research, and sustaining a small crew indefinitely. It housed advanced labs, hydroponic gardens, recreation zones, and even a zero-gravity training sphere. But for sheer adventure, nothing beat the scout ships. The Glimmer awaited them, nestled within the hangar bay, like a polished jewel. It was sleek and compact, its primary feature a nearly spherical cockpit, made of an advanced transparent alloy that offered an almost unobstructed 360-degree view. It resembled a giant luminous bubble, perfectly suited for immersion in cosmic wonders. "All systems nominal, Captain," reported Lieutenant Jax, the Glimmer's lead technician, as they approached. Jax was a kind, perpetually cheerful crew member with bright blue hair that changed color based on his mood, currently a vibrant yellow-green of anticipation. "Excellent, Jax. We'll be on an exploratory trajectory, focusing on the resonant nodes of the Veil. Keep the main ship's sensors locked on our position and monitor for any unexpected energy shifts." "Understood, Captain. Have a wondrous journey." They climbed into the Glimmer's cockpit. The seats molded perfectly to their forms, and a gentle hum indicated the ship's readiness. Eva settled into the pilot's seat, her fingers dancing expertly over the holographic controls that materialized around her. The girl strapped herself into the co-pilot's seat, her heart thrumming with excitement. "Ready, little explorer?" Eva asked, a twinkle in her eye. "Always." With a soft magnetic thrum, the hangar doors of the Stardust LEE slid open, revealing the full, unadulterated glory of the Whispering Veil Nebula. "Etherware." The Glimmer detached from its berth, drifting slowly forward, a tiny bubble of consciousness venturing into a realm of unimaginable scale. The sense of immersion was immediate and profound. Inside the Glimmer, the nebula's light was even more intense, wrapping around them like a living cloak. The colors deepened, the swirls gained a three-dimensional quality, and the tiny motes of stardust now appeared as glittering, tangible flecks, each catching and refracting light in a dazzling display. Eva skillfully navigated the scout ship, avoiding the denser pockets of gas and dust that could interfere with their shields. The Glimmer's advanced sensors projected a real-time holographic map onto the center of the cockpit, showing safe pathways and highlighting areas of interest. "We're heading for one of the primary whisper nodes," Eva explained, pointing to a shimmering point on the map. "It's an area where the cosmic resonances are particularly strong. We suspect it might be a nexus for the echoes you feel." As they approached, the nebula around them began to change. The vibrant, diffuse colors coalesced into more defined structures. Long, luminous tendrils of gas stretched out like cosmic fingers, reaching towards a central, brighter region. Within these tendrils, smaller, pebble-sized particles of stardust danced and collided, creating tiny flashes of light that resembled miniature fireworks. "Look, Mom," the girl exclaimed, pointing. "Those little ones, are they baby stars?" Eva zoomed in on a particularly active cluster on the main viewport. "Not quite, though some might become protostars eventually. Those are what we call stardust sprites. They're essentially highly energized particles of cosmic dust, interacting with the nebula's magnetic fields. They often clump together, forming these beautiful, temporary patterns. Sometimes they even glow with their own faint light due to the energy exchange. Indeed, some of the sprites pulsed with a soft internal luminescence, like tiny living lanterns drifting on an unseen current. The eye moved through a field of them, and for a moment, it felt as if they were swimming through a school of ethereal, glowing fish. The Whisper node grew larger in their view, revealing itself as a swirling vortex of particularly dense and luminous stardust. It wasn't violent or chaotic. Rather, it moved with a majestic slow-motion grace, like a giant cosmic whirlpool. The colors here were richer, deeper, intense violets, deep blues and shimmering silvers, all swirling around a central point that glowed with an almost blinding white light. As they drew closer, a new sensation filled the cockpit. It was a gentle vibration, not just the low hum of the ship, but a deeper, more pervasive thrum that resonated in her chest. It was the whispers, the stardust echoes, amplified and clear. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the vibrations wash over her. She could almost hear them now, not as words, but as a symphony of ancient sounds, the birth of stars, the silent drift of galaxies, the slow, timeless dance of creation and destruction. It was a feeling of profound connection, of being part of something immense and eternal. "The resonance is peaking," Eva murmured, her voice filled with professional awe. "Sensors are detecting unusual energy signatures within the core of the node. It's not a stellar core, it's something else." Carefully, Eva guided the glimmer into the outer fringes of the whisper node. The stardust here was so dense it almost obscured their view, swirling past the transparent hull like thick, luminescent fog. The ship's internal lights dimmed further, allowing the external glow to completely fill the cockpit. "We're picking up a structured anomaly," Eva announced, her fingers flying over the controls. A new holographic projection appeared in the center of the cockpit, a shimmering, three-dimensional representation of an object nestled deep within the swirling stardust. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. It wasn't a natural stellar formation, nor did it appear to be an artificial structure. It was crystalline, yet organic in its complexity, resembling a colossal, many-faceted gem that pulsed with an internal light. Its surface was covered in intricate fractal patterns that shifted and reformed, constantly redrawing themselves with silent electric grace. "A chronocrystal," Eva whispered, her voice barely audible. "I've only ever seen theoretical models. They're incredibly rare, thought to form only under very specific, extreme gravitational and temporal conditions within nascent nebulae. They're believed to store information, light, and even echoes of time itself." The girl stared, mesmerized. The chronocrystal pulsed with a gentle rhythmic beat, a slow, deep thrum that resonated perfectly with the stardust echoes she felt. It was enormous, easily the size of a small moon, yet it seemed to float weightlessly in the swirling cosmic dust, its facets reflecting the nebula's light into 1,000 dazzling points. "It's beautiful," she breathed, reaching out a hand as if to touch the holographic projection. "It is," Eva agreed, her gaze fixed on the anomaly. "Our scanners are trying to interpret its data. It's incredibly complex. The energy readings are unlike anything we've ever encountered. It's not emitting power, but rather absorbing and refracting it, creating a unique temporal field around itself." As they orbited the colossal chronocrystal, a faint shimmer began to emanate from its surface, not a reflection of the nebula's light, but an internal glow that pulsed gently. With each pulse, the stardust echoes in the cockpit seemed to intensify, weaving a richer tapestry of sound and feeling. The girl closed her eyes again, letting the sensations wash over her. This was more than just ancient stories. It felt like a living memory, a glimpse into the very fabric of existence. Then, something remarkable happened. As the glimmer completed a full orbit, one particular facet of the chronocrystal flared brighter than the rest. From it, a beam of pure, shimmering light, no thicker than her finger, shot out, not towards them, but towards a distant, darker patch of the nebula. It was gone in an instant, leaving only a lingering shimmer in the cosmic dust. "Did you see that, Mom?" "I did," Eva said, her voice tight with excitement. A focused energy burst, not random, it was directed. She immediately began running new calculations. "It seems the chronocrystal isn't just storing information, it's also acting as a transmitter. It's sending out pulses, possibly data packets, into the wider nebula." "What kind of data?" the girl asked, her mind racing with possibilities. "Could it be messages? From whom? Or to whom?" "That's what we need to find out," Eva replied, her eyes gleaming with a thrill of discovery. Our preliminary scans indicate the pulses are incredibly dense with information, encoded in a format we've never seen before. It's like finding a giant library, but all the books are written in a language we don't understand yet. The Stardust echoes. They might be the key to translating it. They spent another hour orbiting the chronocrystal, collecting as much data as the glimmer's advanced sensors could gather. The girl remained captivated, watching the crystal pulse and shimmer, feeling the deep, resonant hum of the echoes, now clearer and more profound than ever before. She imagined the crystal as a cosmic heart, beating out ancient rhythms, sending out whispers of creation across the vastness of space. Finally, with their databanks full and the glimmer's energy reserves needing replenishment, Eva reluctantly began to pilot them away from the whisper node. As they pulled back, the chronocrystal gradually shrank, its intense glow softening, becoming once again a shimmering jewel in the heart of the swirling nebula. The stardust echoes in the cockpit faded slightly, but didn't disappear entirely. They remained, a soft, lingering hum in the back of her mind. Returning to the Stardust ELE was like re-entering a familiar, comforting haven. The hangar doors closed with a soft thud, sealing them once more within the ship's protective embrace. But everything felt different now. The universe outside, though still unimaginably vast, felt a little less mysterious, a little more accessible, now that she had witnessed such a profound marvel. Back on the main observation deck, the Stardust LRG's crew were already abuzz with the preliminary data from the glimmer. Holographic projections of the chronocrystal and its energy pulses filled the air, with scientists and astrogators poring over them. "This discovery changes everything," Eva said, putting an arm around her daughter's shoulders. "The Whispering Veil Nebula isn't just a stellar nursery. It's a cosmic archive. And that chronocrystal is its librarian." The girl looked out at the nebula bloom, still swirling and shimmering with endless beauty. The stardust echoes now resonated within her, not just as an imagined dream, but as a tangible connection to the universe's deepest secrets. She was a tiny explorer, yes, but she had just touched a piece of the universe's heart, a fragment of time itself. The Stardust LLine was indeed her home, and the universe, her endless playground, now beckoned with an even grander, more profound mystery. The chronocrystal's whispers had just begun to tell their story, and she, with her mother and the crew of the Stardust EEE, was ready to listen. There were so many more layers to uncover, so many more ancient stories waiting to be translated, so many more shimmering paths to explore within the magnificent living canvas of the Whispering Veil Nebula. The hum of the Stardust LM's primary systems seemed to fade into a background whisper, overshadowed by the subtle resonant thrumming of the chronocrystal. Elara, her small hand still resting on its cool smooth surface, felt a deeper vibration now, not just in her fingertips, but echoing through her very bones. It was like a melody without sound, a silent song of pure knowledge and ancient history. Her mother, Dr. Aris, her eyes alight with a familiar scientific zeal tempered by profound wonder, gently guided Elara's hand away. "Amazing," she breathed, her voice barely a whisper. Captain Jax, usually stoic and pragmatic, stood with his arms crossed, his gaze fixed on the shimmering crystal, a rare smile playing on his lips. The bridge crew, though focused on their readouts, cast frequent, awed glances at the central console where the crystal now pulsed with an internal violet light. "It's not just sound, is it, sweetie?" Dr. Aris murmured, pulling a neural interface band from her utility belt and gently placing it around her forehead. The delicate filaments snaked across her temples, connecting her directly to the Stardust LE's central processing unit, and, through a specialized conduit, to the crystal's energetic output. "It's something else, a data stream, perhaps, disguised as a feeling." Elara nodded, her eyes still wide. "It feels like pictures and stories, like when you read me a book, but inside my head." "Precisely," her mother said, a thrill in her voice. "An experiential data transfer. Fascinating. Captain, could you route the main holographic projectors to my console?" Jax nodded, his fingers dancing over his own console. The air above the central display shimmered, ready to receive. Dr. Aris closed her eyes, focusing. her brow furrowed in concentration. The violet light of the crystal intensified slightly, casting dancing shadows across their faces. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, a faint ethereal mist began to swirl in the holographic field. It coalesced, dissipated, then reformed into fleeting shapes, a spiral, a ripple, a flash of something vast and dark, quickly gone. It was like trying to catch smoke, formless and fleeting. "It's too abstract," Dr. Aris finally sighed, opening her eyes. "The data density is immense, but the syntax, it's utterly alien. We need a frame of reference." She looked at Elara. "You felt it though, didn't you? What did it feel like when it was clearer?" Elara reached out, her small finger hovering just above the crystal. "It felt warm and old, like when Grandma tells stories about Earth, but even older. And it felt like light, a lot of light, moving." As Elara spoke, a remarkable thing happened. The chronocrystal, as if understanding, pulsed brighter. This time the holographic projection above the console didn't just show mist. It began to form faint, shimmering lines of light, tracing intricate, geometric patterns that slowly rotated, like a complex, three-dimensional calligraphy. They were beautiful, mesmerizing, but still inscrutable. "Remarkable," Jax murmured, leaning closer. "It responds to her, to your observations, Elara." Dr. Aris's eyes widened. "It's not just a passive storage device, it's interactive. It's responding to Elara's empathetic input, her wonder. It's trying to communicate on a more fundamental level than raw data." She quickly adjusted her neural interface settings, attempting to filter for emotional resonance and pattern recognition based on Elara's descriptions. "Try again, sweetie," her mother encouraged. "Just touch it gently, and tell me what you feel, what you think it's trying to show us." Elara nodded, her small hand once again finding its place on the crystal's surface. This time, she closed her own eyes, focusing not on what she saw or heard, but on what she felt. The warmth spread from the crystal, up her arm, into her chest. It wasn't just physical warmth, it was a warmth of understanding, of shared memory. And then, it began. The holographic projection above the console flared, coalescing into a more defined image. It was still abstract, but the shapes were clearer, the colors more vibrant. They saw what looked like a vast, dark expanse, studded with countless points of light, stars, but arranged in unfamiliar constellations. Then, a shimmering nebulous form began to coalesce, swirling like cosmic paint, the whispering veil itself, but younger, more chaotic. Within its depths, faint, luminous threads began to weave, like a tapestry being spun by unseen hands. "The nebula," Dr. Aris whispered, awe in her voice. "It's showing us the nebula's formation, or perhaps its evolution." Elara's voice was soft, distant. It's like a big breath. A long, slow breath. And the light threads, they're like paths, or stories." As Elara spoke, the holographic image shifted again. The luminous threads thickened, forming intricate networks, connecting points of light. They pulsed with a gentle rhythm, like a cosmic heart. Then, within one of these threads, a shape began to emerge, sleek, elegant, like a ship, but unlike any human vessel. It was crafted from pure light, trailing a tail of stardust as it moved through the nebulous pathways. "A vessel," Jax breathed, his eyes wide. "An ancient one, if it existed within the Veil's early stages." The light ship moved gracefully, not exploring, but attending to the threads, as if it were a gardener nurturing cosmic plants. Other, smaller light forms appeared around it, like children following a parent. The scene conveyed a profound sense of peace, of purpose, of harmonious existence within the vibrant living canvas of the nebula. They're taking care of it," Elara said, her voice filled with wonder. "They're helping the light grow." Her mother, quickly analyzing the energy signatures and spatial distortions projected by the crystal, gasped. "Elara, you've unlocked something incredible. This isn't just a record, it's a memory stream of a civilization. Look at the energy signatures of these light forms. They're highly advanced, capable of manipulating nebular matter on a grand scale. They're not just traversing the nebula, they're actively shaping it. The holographic projection expanded, showing vast, intricate structures woven into the nebula clouds themselves, not solid, but formed from compressed gas and energy, shimmering like colossal. They looked like cities, or perhaps giant data repositories, built directly into the fabric of the cosmos. The light beings moved between them, their forms shifting and flowing, communicating through pulses of light and complex geometric patterns. They built their homes from the nebula itself, Ilara whispered, captivated. Like our ship is our home, but their home is everything. A wave of profound sadness suddenly washed over Ilara. The light forms in the projection began to dim. The intricate structures within the nebula flickered, growing fainter. The gentle rhythmic pulsing slowed, then became erratic. The vast, vibrant tapestry of the nebula seemed to recoil, drawing inwards. "What's happening?" Yax asked, his voice laced with concern. "It's showing us." "The end," Dr. Aris murmured, her own face etched with sorrow. "Or a departure, a great change." The light beings, once so radiant, gathered together, their forms merging into a single intensely bright core. This core then began to shrink, compressing, until it became a single brilliant point of light that launched itself out of the nebula, leaving behind only echoes and a profound sense of emptiness. The intricate nebular structures withered, receding into wisps of gas, leaving only the familiar, beautiful but seemingly inert patterns they had first encountered. And then, the light point, the last vestige of that ancient civilization, arced through the cosmic void, growing smaller and smaller until it winked out of existence, swallowed by the vast darkness. The chronocrystal's light dimmed, and the holographic projection faded, leaving only the silent, expectant air of the bridge. Ilara slowly removed her hand from the crystal, her eyes filled with a mixture of wonder and a child's simple, intuitive grief. "They left," she whispered. "They went somewhere else." Dr. Aris hugged Ilara close. "Perhaps, sweetie, or perhaps they transitioned, became part of the nebula itself in a different way." She looked at the now subtly pulsing chronocrystal. "But what we just witnessed, it's a legacy, a story told across unimaginable gulfs of time and space." The crew was silent, processing the incredible vision. For a moment, the vastness of the universe and the fleeting nature of even the most advanced civilizations settled heavily upon them. "So," Captain Jax finally broke the silence, his voice a little gruff, "the chronocrystal isn't just a relic, it's a key, a record keeper, and it just showed us a history of the Whispering Veil." He turned to Dr. Aris. "What's next, Doctor? Does it have more stories to tell?" Dr. Aris tapped her neural interface. "The residual energy signatures suggest there's much more. The emotional imprint of that departure was strong. It wasn't just an end, it felt like a deliberate act, a choice, and the crystal seems to be guiding us. Look." She pointed to the main navigation screen, which had been subtly updating itself. A faint, almost imperceptible line had appeared within the complex, shimmering patterns of the nebula, pointing towards a particularly dense, vibrant region they hadn't yet explored. "A path," Ilara said, her voice regaining its spark of wonder. "Like the light paths they made." "Exactly," Dr. Aris confirmed, her eyes bright with renewed excitement. "The crystal is pointing us towards something, perhaps towards where they went, or what they left behind." "Set a course, Ensign Kale," Jax ordered, his voice echoing with renewed purpose. "Follow the crystal's trajectory, maximum stealth, passive scans only. We don't know what we're heading into, but it's clear this nebula is far more than just a pretty cloud of gas." The Stardust LEing shifted, its massive engines humming softly as it began to nudge its way deeper into the Whispering Veil. The nebula gases, once a distant, shimmering wall, now enveloped them, swirling around the ship like an ethereal sea. The light of the crystal pulsed rhythmically, a silent beacon in the heart of their journey. As they followed the crystal's subtle guidance, the nebula began to change. The diffuse clouds tightened, coalescing into more defined forms. They passed through what looked like colossal, shimmering gates made of compressed stardust, their edges glowing with faint internal light. It was like entering a cosmic cathedral, built by an unseen architect. Scans indicate localized gravitational anomalies, Ensign Kale reported, his voice tinged with awe. And unusual energy fluctuations, not dangerous but structured, almost designed. The structures Ilara saw in the projection, Dr. Aris concluded. Remnants of their civilization, or perhaps active components, still humming with residual energy. Ilara pressed her face against the panoramic viewport, her breath fogging the reinforced transparisteel. Outside, the view was breathtaking. They were passing through vast crystalline formations of nebular ice and gas, shaped into intricate spires and arches that stretched for light years. Within these structures, faint ribbons of light pulsed and flowed, like blood through cosmic veins. It was a landscape of impossible beauty, a fusion of art and technology on a scale beyond human comprehension. "It's so beautiful," Ilara breathed, "like a giant frozen garden." "But it's not frozen, is it, Mom?" "In a way, yes, sweetie," Dr. Aris replied, her own gaze sweeping across the magnificent vista. "It's still active, still carrying the imprint of those who shaped it." She glanced at the chronocrystal, which now hummed with a stronger, more insistent energy. "It's guiding us through their legacy." Suddenly, the crystal flared, and a new, more urgent message flooded Ilara's mind. It wasn't a picture this time, but a distinct feeling, a pull, a sense of immediate direction. She pointed instinctively. "That way, faster." Jax, trusting Ilara's unique connection, immediately ordered a subtle course correction. The Stardust L-line veered sharply, diving into a particularly dense cluster of nebular clouds. For a moment, they were plunged into a swirling vortex of shimmering gas, obscuring all outside view. The ship shuddered slightly as they passed through a localized energy field. Then, they emerged into a vast open chamber within the nebula, larger than any stellar system. And in its center, pulsating with a soft, iridescent glow, was something truly extraordinary. It was a sphere, perfectly symmetrical, but not solid. It was composed of countless interwoven strands of pure nebular light, constantly shifting and reweaving themselves. It was like a living, breathing star made of intricate gossamer threads. Energy flowed into it from the surrounding nebular structures, and radiated outwards in gentle, rhythmic pulses. "My word," Jax whispered, utterly spellbound. "What can that?" Dr. Aris was already at her console, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. "Readings are off the charts, Captain. It's an immense energy source, but unlike any star or black hole, it's coherent, deliberate. The energy signatures match those of the ancient civilization we saw in the crystal's projection." She looked at Ilara, her eyes wide with understanding. "Ilara, this is it. This is what the crystal was leading us to. This is their heart." Ilara felt the chronocrystal resonate powerfully now, almost vibrating in her hand. The sphere of light in the distance pulsed in sync with it, as if the two were linked, two parts of a single colossal mechanism. The sphere was mesmerizing. As they drew closer, Ilara could discern intricate patterns within its weaving light, not random, but purposeful. They seemed to depict symbols, stories, entire histories unfolding in luminous ephemeral glyphs. It was a library, a monument, a power source, all woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. "It's beautiful," Ilara whispered, tears pricking her eyes, not from sadness but from overwhelming wonder. "It's like a dream." Suddenly, a new message erupted from the chronocrystal. This time, it was not just a feeling or a picture. It was a complex, multi-layered projection that filled the entire bridge, swirling around them in a breathtaking display of light and soundless information. It showed the ancient light beings, not departing, but merging with the colossal sphere of light. Their individual forms dissolved into its luminous strands, their consciousnesses becoming part of its vast interconnected network. They hadn't left, they had become in the heart of the nebula. They had transcended their physical forms, choosing to evolve into a collective consciousness, a living archive, a cosmic beacon. The projection then focused on the Stardust LNG, depicting it as a tiny speck, yet somehow significant. It conveyed a message of welcome, of shared destiny, of a long-awaited connection. It showed images of other distant nebulae, other cosmic structures, hinting at a vast network of similar hearts across the galaxy, all linked, all observing, all waiting. Finally, the projection coalesced into a single, profound question, presented not in words, but in a universal language of light and emotion. Will you listen? Will you learn? Will you carry the light? The chronocrystal pulsed with a final, intense burst of violet light, then settled into a steady, gentle glow. The holographic projection faded, leaving the crew of the Stardust LID in stunned silence, their minds reeling from the profound implications of what they had just witnessed. They didn't leave, Dr. Aris finally managed, her voice trembling with awe. They became this immense living repository of knowledge and consciousness, and they've been waiting. She looked at Elara, then at the vast, shimmering sphere ahead. They've been waiting for someone to find the chronocrystal, to understand its whispers, and to come here. A cosmic library, Jax murmured, running a hand through his hair. A living archive of an entire civilization, and it's inviting us in. He looked at the sphere, then at Elara, a new kind of wonder in his eyes. What do we do now, Doctor? Dr. Aris took a deep breath, her scientific mind already racing, but her heart filled with a profound sense of privilege and responsibility. We approach, carefully, respectfully, we try to understand their invitation, and we learn. She looked at Elara, who was gazing at the luminous sphere, her small face alight with an uncontainable joy. We learn everything we can, sweetie. About them, about the nebula, about ourselves. Elara nodded, her eyes shining. The universe, which had always been an endless playground, now felt like a vast, welcoming home, filled with ancient friends waiting to share their stories. The chronocrystal, now a quiet, reassuring presence in her hand, had opened a door to a wonder she hadn't even dared to imagine. The journey had truly just begun. Dr. Aris Thorne, Elara's mother, knew that this journey wouldn't be a simple star chart navigation. It would be a voyage of the mind, a deep dive into the unknown. The initial days were a blur of intense scientific inquiry. Dr. Thorne, a brilliant xenolinguist and astrophysicist, assembled a small, highly trusted team aboard the Stella Nova. They worked in the ship's primary research lab, a dome of shimmering force fields and holographic displays, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of monitors. The chronocrystal defied every known principle of physics. It pulsed with an internal light, a gentle rhythmic thrum that Elara could feel even when it wasn't in her hand. Dr. Thorne tried every sensor, every scanner, every energy signature analysis. The crystal remained inscrutable, a perfect, seamless sphere of unknown material. It didn't transmit radio waves, light pulses, or gravitational fluctuations in any recognizable pattern. It simply was still. It's like trying to read a book written in starlight, Dr. Thorne mused one evening, rubbing her temples. We know there's information, but we don't know the alphabet, the grammar, or even if it's meant to be I-read-I in the way we understand. Elara, perched on a lab stool, her small feet dangling, reached out and gently touched the crystal, which sat on a cushioned pedestal in the center of the lab. Maybe it's not words, Mama. Maybe it's feelings. Dr. Thorne smiled, a tired but affectionate expression. A lovely thought, sweetie. But feelings are hard to translate into a coherent language for millions of beings. Yet, Elara's intuition proved more valuable than any sophisticated algorithm. One afternoon, while the team was puzzling over a particularly complex energy signature, Elara, holding the crystal, felt a faint warmth spread through her fingers. She closed her eyes, focusing not on deciphering, but on noctinging. She imagined reaching out with her mind, with her heart, asking, "What are you?" Suddenly, the crystal flared, not with blinding light, but with an inner luminescence that seemed to hum directly into her consciousness. A cascade of images, not projected onto the lab walls, but within her minding, washed over Elara. They were not static pictures, but flowing, vibrant tapestries of light and sound, of concepts and emotions. She saw swirling nebulae, not as distant clouds but as living, breathing entities. She saw intricate patterns that felt like mathematics, but also like music. She felt a profound sense of peace, ancient and vast, like the universe itself. "Mama!" Elara gasped, her eyes still closed, a tear tracing a path down her cheek. "It's talking to me, not with words but—" Dr. Thorne rushed to her side, her heart pounding. She placed a hand on Elara's shoulder, then carefully touched the crystal. As her fingers met the smooth surface, she too felt a faint echo of the crystal's silent symphony. A connection, tenuous yet undeniable, had been forged. From that day forward, Elara became the primary conduit. The team developed a specialized biointerface, a neural net, that could translate Elara's mental impressions into holographic projections. It was clunky at first, a jumble of abstract shapes and colors, but slowly, painstakingly, a narrative began to emerge. The beings who created the chronocrystal called themselves the Luminaries. They were not flesh and blood, but consciousnesses of pure energy, born from the very fabric of the cosmos. They existed across vast swathes of space and time, their collective wisdom spanning Anza. They were the universe's quiet gardeners, nurturing nascent life, guiding the evolution of intelligence, and safeguarding the delicate balance of cosmic forces. The nebula wasn't just a stellar nursery. It was a sanctuary, a living library, a grand nexus of their collective consciousness. Within its swirling heart lay the great archives, vast repositories of knowledge, history, and foresight, all woven into the very fabric of space-time. The chronocrystal was a seed, a tiny fragment of the great archives, designed to awaken when a suitable mind, one open to wonder and connection, came within its reach. It was a key, a tutor, and a beacon, all in one. The implications were staggering. Humanity was not alone. It was part of a cosmic family, though one far more ancient and vast than they could have ever conceived. Dr. Thorne cautiously shared their findings with the broader scientific community back on Earth, using encrypted channels. Skepticism quickly gave way to awe as the holographic translations, now increasingly coherent thanks to Elara's growing connection, provided undeniable proof. The stellar nova became the epicenter of humanity's greatest discovery. Elara's life transformed. She spent hours each day with the chronocrystal, not as a chore, but as a journey into boundless wonder. She learned the language of the luminaries, a language beyond spoken words, a symphony of light, emotion, and pure concept. She experienced visions, simulated journeys through galaxies being born and dying, through the minds of creatures that lived on gas giants, through the silent dance of dark matter. She understood that time was not linear for the luminaries, but a vast, interconnected tapestry where past, present, and future intertwined. She learned of their philosophy, the interconnectedness of all things, the importance of balance, the sacred duty to foster life and understanding. They spoke of cosmic harmony, a grand symphony that resonated through the universe, and of the subtle disturbances that could lead to cataclysm. Their purpose was to maintain this harmony, to guide civilizations like humanity to reach their full potential, not through interference but through gentle nudges and shared wisdom. Elara, though still a child in human years, began to carry an ancient wisdom in her eyes. Her connection to the crystal deepened, becoming less about deciphering and more about a communion. The crystal didn't just show her information, it allowed her to feeling the luminaries' presence, their vast benevolent awareness. She felt like a tiny seedling, suddenly connected to the roots of a colossal, ancient tree, drawing sustenance and knowledge from its very core. One day, the crystal pulsed with an unusual intensity. The images it projected were clearer, more urgent. It showed a path, a shimmering conduit of energy leading directly into the heart of the nebula. It was an invitation, a summons. The luminaries were ready for humanity to take the next step. "They want us to come," Elara whispered, her hand pressed against the warm surface of the crystal. "Into the nebula, to the great archives." Dr. Thorne felt a shiver, of both excitement and apprehension. No human ship had ever ventured deep into the Heartwood Nebula. Its chaotic energy fields, volatile plasma storms, and unpredictable gravitational anomalies made it a celestial no-go zone. But the crystal was showing them safe passages, pathways of stable energy, ancient routes known only to the luminaries. Preparations for the expedition were meticulous. The Istella Nova was reinforced with experimental shielding, its navigation systems integrated with the crystal's guidance protocols. A specialized communication array was designed to broadcast Ilara's mental translations directly to the ship's bridge and research labs. This wasn't just a scientific mission, it was a pilgrimage. As the Istella Nova approached the nebula's outer fringes, the familiar celestial phenomenon transformed. What had looked like an amorphous cloud from afar now resolved into distinct, luminous currents, like rivers of stardust flowing into a colossal, cosmic ocean. Guided by the chronocrystal, the ship slipped through a shimmering veil, entering a realm of breathtaking beauty. Inside, the nebula wasn't chaotic, it was structured. Vast, ethereal pathways of concentrated starlight wound through silent, shimmering voids. Ancient, glowing structures, like cities built of pure light, hung suspended in the cosmic dust, their forms too grand, too complex for human architecture. These were the nodes, smaller archival hubs, stepping stones to the great archives. The ship's sensors went wild, not with alarm, but with a symphony of new data. The nebula was alive, teeming with subtle energy, intricate resonances, and a silent hum that vibrated through the ship's hull. Ilara, seated in a specialized meditation chamber near the bridge, her chronocrystal resting in a cradle before her, was their guide. She saw the nebula not just as light and gas, but as a vast, interconnected consciousness. "Left, Mama," she'd murmur, her voice soft but clear, eyes closed. "There's a path opening, a warm current." And the Istella Novae, under Dr. Thorne's expert command, would veer, slipping through passages that appeared as if by magic, avoiding energy vortices that would have torn the ship apart. Deeper and deeper they went, past nodes that glowed with different hues, each seemingly holding a unique facet of universal knowledge. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of silent sailing through cosmic grandeur, the chronocrystal pulsed with an unprecedented brilliance. Before them, at the very heart of the nebula, lay the great archives. It wasn't a single structure, but a colossal, shimmering nexus of energy, a sphere of pure, incandescent light that dwarfed star systems. It pulsed with a rhythmic beat that resonated not just through the ship, but through Ilara's very soul. This was the source, the collective mind of the luminaries, the heart of their cosmic library. "We're here," Ilara breathed, tears streaming down her face, not of sadness, but of overwhelming joy and awe. As the Istella Nova settled into orbit around the great archives, a silent, profound communion began. It wasn't a message from the crystal anymore, but a direct, unfiltered connection to the collective consciousness of the luminaries. Through Ilara, their thoughts, their history, their purpose flowed into the minds of everyone aboard the ship, translated into a form that human minds could comprehend. They learned that the luminaries had witnessed the birth and death of countless universes. They were the custodians of cosmic memory. They had seen civilizations rise and fall, and they sought to guide life towards a shared destiny of understanding and harmony, to prevent the destructive cycles that had plagued nascent species in other galaxies. They didn't command or demand. They offered. They offered humanity a place in their network, a role as fellow custodians, as explorers of nascent life in new star systems, as participants in the grand cosmic dance. They offered their wisdom, their knowledge, their vast understanding of the universe's deepest mysteries. Ilara felt the weight of this offer, the immense privilege and responsibility. She felt a connection not just to the luminaries, but to every living thing in the universe, to the very stardust that formed her bones and the light that sparked her thoughts. The universe was no longer just a playground or a welcoming home, it was a vast, intricate family, and humanity had just found its place at the table. Dr. Thorne, witnessing her daughter as the bridge between humanity and this ancient cosmic intelligence, felt a love so profound it brought her to her knees. Her child, her curious, dreaming Ilara, had not just found a crystal, she had found humanity's destiny. In the years that followed, the Istella Nova became a permanent research station within the Heartwood Nebula, a gateway between humanity and the luminaries. Ilara, no longer a child but a young woman, became the primary ambassador, a teacher, a translator of concepts beyond human language. Her chronocrystal, now more a part of her than an object she held, remained a constant, reassuring presence, a tangible link to the boundless wisdom she had uncovered. Humanity, guided by the luminaries' wisdom, embarked on an era of unprecedented growth and understanding. Conflict dwindled, replaced by a shared purpose. The stars, once distant points of light, became a canvas for new exploration, not of conquest, but of connection. And sometimes late at night, when the nebula's light painted the observation deck in hues of lavender and silver, Elara would stand by the viewport, the chronocrystal glowing softly in her hand. She'd look out at the swirling heart of the great archives, feeling the gentle pulse of the luminaries, the quiet hum of cosmic harmony. She would remember her mother's words so long ago. We learn everything we can, sweetie, about them, about the nebula, about ourselves. And indeed, they had. They had learned that the greatest wonders weren't just out among the stars, but also deep within the heart, waiting to connect, waiting to understand, waiting to become part of something infinitely larger and more beautiful than they could have ever imagined. The journey, she knew, would never truly end. It would simply continue, unfolding new wonders with every gentle breath of the universe.